So this has been a long time in the works with everyone, and with everyone's hard work and dedication, it has really paid off. Look what we've accomplished together. I first became aware of the Clark while working on the West End, and some city folks, I think some of them are here, came to visit me at Nielsen Park Creative Center to get some ideas for here. And I was intrigued, to say the least, with what they were doing, and when the opportunity presented itself to work for the city, I naturally jumped at it. I've been working behind the scenes for the last 5 years, starting with the community consultations, remember those? Going through the naming process.
Bonjour, bonjour, Ali, Sego, Madakwe, Dishnakas, Maskanosha, and Dodem, Jolian, and Dokiba, Minwa, Minwane, Ashi, or Nikini, Nojimawani, Minwa, Nojimawani, Indijan. Nangom Gishika, Gwejnigo, Nopnis, Mishonis, and Arnek. Minwani Winway Nanama Koldanen, Waban, Javan, Ligabino, Minwagi Wagno, Gayevska Bewisama the Biashquandeni, Nadama, this or Nadama Shin, Gijan Manado Miguech, Nangam Gishak Miguech go Kenegeko Gamijan. Yaki Kinu Mana Kekajan Dayan, we don't go shin. We don't go shin. Minwa Kinawe Mashin, Nakin Gajan Dayan, Arjuin Mishin, Joanna Mishinam, Arjuin Mishin, Joanna Mishinam. So, good morning, everyone. Again, I'm really happy to be here today with you all, and to be invited by one of my students, and just had a little chat with her creator, and she made me feel really good about, where are you? Oh, there you are. She made me feel really good about the work that I've been doing in my life, and all of the learning and the teaching that has brought me here with you today on these grounds. A very special day, and chatting with Charles earlier as well. About 40 years ago, my grandmother was here walking on this land, and she received her 40th year medal from the Victoria Order of Nursing with the Women's College Hospital. So for me right now, it's a very emotional moment to be here walking in her footsteps. And also my brother is here, Ray is here with his wife Marlene, and they live here in the community. And I am forever grateful that I had such a teacher in my life, and in these days of truth and reconciliation, we think about what is it that we can do as people to help. How there's 94 calls to recommendations. I would say, what is the one thing that you think you can do? And when I look back, the one thing that I had in my life that saved my life was my grandmother, and her name was Baja Dalganigokwe as well. So I wanted to share those words with you, and also we looked after, along with Marissa, we looked after the inside of this beautiful building before we got started, and we did that in a good way. It is our way before we gather together and do anything of utmost importance like we're doing today, is we light the fire. We start with the fire, we acknowledge creation, and we call, when we say Mishomisananik, Gokamisananik, we're asking them, we're asking them to look this way. To look this way at all of you that are here, all of you that are here in celebration and coming together and building in this continual circle, looking 7 generations into the future. So we also say Opchigo, which is like a really big Opchigo Gachimigwech, which is a really big one for today. And also to be here to help open this building in the very best way that we can together as with all of you. Thank you so much.
The Clark Center for the Arts is going to be a cultural gem and will offer tremendous cultural capacity to our community and beyond. I'm proud of the work that we have accomplished in constructing the center and preserving the cultural heritage of the site. Special thanks to Charles Hazell from Taylor Hazell Architects. We're going to hear from Charles in a moment. The Clark Center for the Arts, unfortunately, is currently closed to the public, but we do have a goal of opening it in 2022. City staff are going to be very focused on outfitting the center's offices and studios and ensuring all the health and safety systems are in place before opening. I want to thank City of Toronto staff for all their committed and exemplary public service, for their collaborative approach that they used. When fully operational, this center is going to have 90 arts and center programs annually that are going to be available to the public, which will include affordable pre-registered programs and workshops, community-led programming, and events, galleries, and exhibitions.
It's very hard to see. I just want everybody to think this is a part of the team, not even all of the team. There's Andrea that put this together. So I just wanted to, I get to stand up here and I'm like, all these people should be here with me. So thank you very much.
The best culture team, not just for this building, but across the city. And I can't thank them enough. I get to stand up here and be the city councilor. This is the team that did this. Big round of applause.
I wanted to speak a little bit about the creative process, because that is at the root of what began, I guess, maybe even 10 years ago, 8 years ago. And there was a reference we had earlier to the RFP, which we responded to about 4 or 5 years ago, which is a request for services, architectural services. And sometimes they are fairly dry. This one it had its dry moments, but it had some brilliant phrases in there, which were about the vision of this place. And I can truly say that those words kept us on track, and I think we delivered the spirit of those words. We were always looking for words in their full definition, and I think this gave us the promise of that. Also, the advocacy that I know we had to make this possible. There were some moves that we were making which were exciting, but needed to convince people that this was the right thing to do, and so you always need advocates for something to just lift off the page a little bit, and that was a pleasure to have. And then the pleasure of the process, and that's a process that's just like what's going to take place in here. Every time somebody comes to a class or listens to something, you're involved with the same thing that we are when we're in our studio, trying to figure out how to take the environment, try to take the aspirations of the program, what people want to do in this place, trying to mend a building that was a bit of a bunker, I suppose, in some ways, but it has beautiful qualities to it, and we found that very inspiring. But how do you interact with it? And then the challenge just physically of designing it, and the structure, the mechanical system, and then telling our consultants, well, we don't want it organized in a kind of orthogonal way. We're going to skew everything to 11 degrees, and then they say, well, let's just see how that can be done. So it was a great creative process, very much like, as I say, what goes on when you do anything in that spirit. And then the last thing would be the trusting in the creative process. And I think that's something that everyone brings with them here, celebrates, and then continues with that building, assisting and supporting that activity. I can only imagine how much it's going to do here. Thank you.
Purpose, just keep doing, but what about being?
Let's hear it, gang. Okay. Being present here in a park, trying with all these people to make art, finding inspiration from the world around, longing for a creation to be found, emerging from our minds in the dark. Colors being less than what we see, but it is still more than enough. The vision in our head can still be challenging and still pushing through the rough. Thank you everyone for coming to see our performance here, and thank you for coming to the opening of the Clark Center for the Arts. I'd like to thank Anne-Marie. As well as our directors, Tyler and Ellen. And I hope you all have a wonderfully inspiring day.
I feel good about it. I love doing it. I'm just glad it's legal. You know, I've learned to feel comfortable with tools. You know, that's the U.S. Air Force. This is just I didn't use this on the aircraft, but you know, to have something like this with a dime bar, and I can manipulate this in such a way so that I can get the various contours of whatever it is that I'm creating, be it a face, be it an animal, be it what have you, animal form or what have you. But at any rate, I start off with this guy, and with a dime bar, which means that you know, instead of going straight along like that at the same width, it narrows down to about the shape of a diameter of a quarter or a dime, what have you. And I'm able to sort of get right into very tight quarters and able to manipulate and so on in such a way very easily, you know, to round whatever it is that I want. To not only, you know, create this, but to create that as well. You can do it very quickly. And the more you become accustomed to manipulate, your muscles begin to grow in such a way so as to manipulate that. You know, it just comes with experience. Yes?
So, do you have like